Good morning. Thank you for joining me for this morning mindfulness practice. Perhaps we'll just begin this morning with a few moments of silence, of just being, and then I'll say a little more. Maybe just adjusting your posture slightly or substantially as you wish. Embodying your dignity, your wakefulness, your presence. I noticed this morning my own mind's tendency to turn this practice into a goal. What shall we do today? There's lots of useful things to do. I don't mean to denigrate that. But the real invitation underneath it all here is to see what it's like to just be as you are. We may not choose what arises from one moment to the next, but we can always choose to be in wise relationship with it. To notice our habits of striving and fixing and resisting and holding on. And just to explore the idea of softening them. Not asking too much of ourselves, not expecting it all to happen at once. But just investigating what a more open, slightly softer approach might be. And to the extent that that doesn't feel possible right here in this moment, being in wise relationship with that. allowing whatever does not feel possible to be that way. Not asking too much of ourselves, even when it comes to not asking too much of ourselves. Just exploring what is possible right here in this moment. It can be very helpful in this way to have an anchor for our attention, a place we can come back to steady ourselves, gather ourselves, before turning towards whatever is the rest of our experience. Perhaps choosing an anchor for yourself this morning practice. The breath in the belly or in the nostrils, a hand or a foot, both hands, both feet. And we can choose what's in the foreground of our attention. Sometimes it might be this anchor. Sometimes we might open out more widely, the whole body, the sphere of thought, of emotion, of sound. We might choose to take this wider view, and to feel our way into a wise relationship with whatever is here, with the whole field. And then at times we may choose to come back, to narrow the spotlight of attention back to the anchor of our choosing. Even when we do this, we might allow the background of awareness to remain open and broad as far as possible, and just gather the spotlight in the foreground. Choosing what to direct the gaze of the mind at, without any constricting or narrowing being necessary in the background. This can always be fairly spacious, open-hearted. Whether in the foreground of our awareness we choose a narrow or a wider focus for now, wherever we're at with this, the mind is liable to wander. And each time it does, we have the opportunity to deepen our capacity for this non-doing awareness by bringing the attention back. Each instance of wandering mind is an opportunity. Noticing that the mind has wandered, perhaps briefly acknowledging where it has wandered, in fairly general terms, a thought, an emotion, another sensation, an impulse, whatever it may be, and then coming back. Consolidating the neural pathways of awareness as you do. Physically growing the capacity for stillness and awareness. This is not a metaphor. And it may be that at certain times, in fact, at certain times almost certainly, something difficult will arrive. An uncomfortable sensation or emotion or thought. We have options here of how to be in wise relationship with whatever arrives, whatever shows up. Something from the past or the future or something else. We might choose to move the body, especially if the discomfort is physical. If you do this, noticing the intention to move, the movement itself, and any sensations after the movement, so that the whole process is held in awareness, before, during, and after. There's always this option. Alternatively, you might return to your anchor, breath, or hands, or feet, or sound, or anything else. Just taking refuge in, giving attention to the anchor, perhaps not pushing away the difficult, just turning towards this refuge that the anchor offers, knowing that whatever arises, we can choose to place our attention where we choose. And even if the mind wanders back again and again to the difficulty, We can choose to place the attention again and again with our anchor. And again, if possible, allowing the background of awareness to be fairly open, unconstrained. It's maybe harder in the presence of difficulty. I'm just doing what's possible. And in the foreground, resting with the anchor. That's the second option. The third option, if difficulty arises at some level, is if you feel you'd like to, you feel moved to, grounded in the breath and the body, to turn the spotlight of attention towards the difficulty. Where is it? Sensation, emotion, thought? Is it steady or changing? Where are its edges? Can I breathe into it and out from it? Or can I breathe around it and allow its edges to soften slightly? Can I bathe it in the light of awareness? The third option. Always your choice to make. Sometimes turning towards may feel like the wise choice. Sometimes we may practice wise avoidance, turning away. Any choice made with awareness is an act of mindfulness. So right now, just resting with either a narrow or a wide focus in the foreground. Moving between the two as you choose. But letting each time you move from narrow to wide or wide to narrow be a deliberate choice. The mind is oscillating between the two. You may like to steady it with one for a little while and then choose to move to the other. into the field of awareness in all its dimensions. You can allow the words of this poem to drop. Rain on grass. No task here, no processing required. Just sound, and whatever the sound evokes. Maybe thought, maybe emotion, maybe other sensations. This is called Dreaming the Real by Linda France. I'm lying down looking at the color of sky falling through trees, dreaming the real, tasting what it feels like to love it. Why did it take me so long to let go? Simply exhale, so the day could breathe itself in and open without me standing in the way. How could I forget the grace of my own body, strong as this blue, tender as the white of the wild blossom, warm as midday light? Let me practice a patience bold enough to hold every weather, trusting the elements, the beauty of rain, all its shades of grey. I want whatever's real to be enough. At least it's a place to begin, and to master the art of loving it. Feel it love me back under my skin. So thank you for being here this morning and practicing together. Always interesting to notice these moments just after a formal practice has finished. If there's evaluation, comparison, judgment of different sorts, good or bad, there it is. If anybody is fairly new to the practice of mindfulness here, there's a course that I'd really recommend that might be supplementary to these morning sessions. And I'll post a link to that in the comment on this video, which will pop up on YouTube fairly shortly. Something to explore if you're interested. I'll be back at the same time tomorrow for some mindful movement. Wishing you a good day and take care. Thank you.